Pokemon Emerald is one of the best games in the franchise, but it is also one of the hardest. I mean, just look at Tate and Liza's gym battle. A competitive doubles team? Seriously? And the game is even harder if you choose a starter other than Mudkip, which is exactly what I did in this challenge where I'm following not only hardcore Nuzlocke rules, not only additional restrictions to ban setup and weather setting strategies, but I'm also trying to beat the game without a single death. This is going to be a lot of fun. Why didn't I choose Mudkip? Well, because I've been shaped by Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Sky, and if you know anything about how hard that game hits, then yeah, this is an easy choice. Our early game encounters will be incredibly important here, as even though Gex can carry us through Roxanne's gym, his teammates are going to need to support him through the following few splits, as his matchups into Brawly, Watson, and Flannery won't be quite as strong. Nincada and Whismur are all destined for long stays in the PC box, while Fangs the Poochyena and Monarch the Wurmple will have their moments once they fully evolve. But the two prizes here are Mailman the Wingull and Kite the Tailo. Mailman's typing and solid bulk as a Pelipper will be great against the likes of Flannery, as well as pretty much every other evil team member will face. And Kite's Guts ability will make him a powerful sweeper as a Swellow, especially once we get access to the Facade TM as reward for defeating the 5th gym. Roxanne time! As I already mentioned, Trico easily sweeps through Roxanne's team by firing a flurry of absorbs into her 2 Geodudes and Nosepass, and we make our way with Mr. Briny and Pico to the quaint Dewford town. If you think Brawly is going to put up more of a fight than Roxanne, then you clearly don't remember Monarch the Wurmple, who has gone through Metamorphosis and is now a Beautifly whose bug flying typing provides a quad fighting resistance just in time for the fighting type master. It's surprising that Brawly's team lacks even a single non-fighting type damaging move, but hey, this allows Monarch to have his shining moment before taking a backseat for the remainder of our journey. You are a star, my friend. Now, the challenge really begins. My friends, welcome to the Grand Mauville Heist. We're going to infiltrate Hoenn's gambling capital. Home to the region's game corner, the biggest game of roulette in the city actually goes down in Watson's gym. Don't let this jolly old man fool you. He's packing a menacing team of electric types. We'll have to roll the dice against a Voltorb that can self-destruct at a moment's notice, test my luck at dodging Confusion from Magneton's Supersonic, and bet on my guys to hit through Paralysis, which can be inflicted from either Thunderwave or the proccing of the Static ability. Oh, and Watson holds a house advantage as there are only 2 ground types available at this point in the game. One is Marshtomp, who I left in Professor Birch's bag, and the other is Geodude, who I did not encounter in Granite Cave, instead finding Lizard the Aeron there. Every heist needs a skilled crew, and we've assembled quite the ragtag cast of characters for the job. First up is the Bomb Squad, composed of Mightyena and the aforementioned Aeron. Voltorb and Fangs exchange some sparks and bites, and eventually, predicting self-destruct, I switch to Lizard, who absorbs the blow and gives my team the early advantage. Next, it's time to turn out the lights. Minion comes in and short-circuits the Electrike, locking the Static Puppy into using Quick Attack. Now, Lizard comes in and takes him out thanks to being an absolute normal wall. Magneton is out next, whose Magnet Pull ability would theoretically spell trouble for our little Steel-type friend, but Lizard knows Roar, which sends Magneton back to the bench, at least for the moment. Instead, it's time for Watson's Guard Dog. Once again, I utilize Minun, who paralyzes Manectric and locks him into Quick Attack with Encore. From here, Lizard kicks a bunch of mud in his face to lower his accuracy, and then Swellow and Loudre take advantage of 5 straight missed Thunder Waves to pick up the kill. All that's left to do now is shut down the final defense system in Magneton. I start with Grovyle to lower the shields a bit, but a crit Shockwave forces Gex out of the battle. Luckily, my hacker, Loudre, is just the guy for the job. Boom already burned his Cherry Berry after Manectric's static ability procced earlier, so Thunderwave paralyzes here. But my guy hits through with Rock Smash and picks up the defense drop. He does the same thing on the next turn, and now it all comes down to this. We obviously just have to try to hit through. Oh, don't crit. Just don't crit. Don't crit. You know what? Screw it. I've seen enough. From here on out, I'm building the team around you. Boom goes back to the PC box after the fight, never to see the light of the real world again. Nuzlocking can be a cruel world sometimes. Anyways, we have successfully stolen the Dynamo badge from Watson. From here, we head to Mount Chimney for our first major run-in with Team Magma, and it's honestly kinda shocking just how pitiful they are. Their grunts carry nothing but Poochyenas, Zubats, and Numels, and their admin Tabitha is no different. Maxie at least evolved some of his Pokemon, but Gyarados has no issues with his Mightyena. Mine electrocutes his Poison Bat, and Pelipper is a complete counter for Camerupt. Surely Team Magma will be more menacing later, right? Like, surely they add other Pokemon to their teams besides these 3, right? Right? Heading down the Jagged Pass brings us to Flannery's gym in Lava Ridge Town. Like Watson, this is another battle that is handled easily by a Marshtomp that we don't have at our disposal. So we'll have to cook a bit harder, especially against her ace Torkoal. Flannery sending out her Numel and Slugma against Pelipper goes about as well as you'd expect. And although Camerupt lives at 1 HP twice, gotta love how Mailman's best water move at this point is Water Gun, we're never in any real danger of getting frauded here. It's honestly pretty wild how much more menacing this tortoise is compared to Flannery's other team members, but I have an electric mouse who's up to the task. Mynan is female, meaning she's immune to Flannery's attract strats, and we use Encore to lock Torkoal into this useless move, making the 1v1 totally free. Look at this, me, Walmart Ash, and Mynan, Walmart Pikachu, acquiring our 4th gym badge in Hoenn. You love to see it. To celebrate, why not go battle Dad for the 5th gym badge, eh? Let's see if the old man still got it. His lead Spinda falls to consecutive Dragon Rages from Gyarados, who holds a Person Berry to prevent confusion from Teeter Dance. Vigoroth then steps onto the field, but he is not ready for Lizard the Aeron. Sure, the little guy can't dish out much damage, but he sure can soak it up. The most damage Norman can do here is 7 with Feint Attack, so barring a barrage of crits, it's just a matter of time before Vigoroth falls and his final form Slacking enters play. I'll be honest, the strategy here is just to throw as much as I can at the big oaf until something works. I start with Mynan to Encore counter and hit Slacking with a Thunder Wave, Charm, and Spark, but when Encore ends, Norman goes for Yawn, forcing me to switch out. I respond with some Intimidate pivoting between Big Fish and Lizard to bring Slacking to -6 attack, and then try for some honorable Bite Flinch strats with Fangs, which works out incredibly well actually, forcing Norman to heal up once his ace falls to red health. I also attempt to utilize some Protect strats with Pelipper on Truant turns, but I think I would do more damage trying to punch a wall. So what do? Well, I go back to Mightyena Bite Flinch strats again, which genuinely works so well it's insane. Fangs, thank you my friend for flinching Slacking like 262 times. We whittle the lazy Pokemon down to 1 HP as he sends off a Yawn, so I swap Mynan in on the Truant turn to kill with Spark. Lanoon is Norman's last hope, but Thunder Wave and Encoring Slash allows Aeron to come in and clinch victory. Kind of a weird fight, but I don't think I was ever in a situation where I had to dodge a crit, so that's what we call optimal gameplay. The next stretch of the game is kinda long, so I'll make it brief. We get Surf, giving us access to a bunch of optional areas, including New Mauville, where we encounter Terabyte the Magnemite, who is destined for greatness. Just you wait. We then make our way to Route 119 and the Weather Institute, where we wreck Aqua Admin Shelly and her, quite frankly, pathetic team. We get Cast Form as reward, but since I banned weather moves and abilities, I instead already opted for an encounter from the grass, which turned out to be the Goon. He did not leave the box. We also fight May here on Route 119, and this one ends in a flash. I'm not going to even bother showing our final fight against her later in Lily Cove because, honestly, her team just can't compete with mine. Fortree City is our next stop, and here we fight the Flying-type Master, Winona. The scariest aspect of this gym battle is, of course, her Altaria. I have answers for her other 4 Pokemon, but if I'm being honest, I don't know what my plan was for Altaria. I've watched this footage back like a dozen times, and I'm still not convinced I actually went with any semblance of a plan. Swablu, bird food. Tropius, bigger bird food. Pelipper, well, not bird food because Swallow's pre-burn has him a bit low on HP, but Magneton eats Pelipper for breakfast, and then Terabyte baits out her big, bad Altaria. Everyone in the world knows that she wants to Earthquake here, so I bring Gyarados in and get an Intimidate off. We fire off Dragon Breaths and Strengths for 3 straight turns, leading to a Hyper Potion heal back to full, as I fire off a 4th Strength with the Big Fish. I'm low on HP though, so I pivot through Laren on the next Dragon Breath, allowing me to bring Mailman in on Earthquake. Altaria goes for back-to-back Dragon Dances as I get some damage in, and then she goes for a Dragon Breath as a Surf brings her down to about 20% HP remaining. From here, I pivot around to get Swellow back in on Earthquake and take advantage of Priority Quick Attack to kill the Cloud Bird. Wasn't that smooth? Skarmory is last up, and Magneton obliterates her to secure the Feather Badge. We're flying through Hoenn, and I can now smell the endgame, but our biggest test still awaits. Tate and Liza's gym ramps up the difficulty significantly with a double battle against a really well-designed team. It's no question the landmark fight standing between us and the Pokemon League at this point, but it's unfortunately surrounded on both sides by a bunch of evil team nonsense. Like, Tabitha and Magma Hideout is soloed by Mailman with 0 risk. Pelipper, the Pelican whose base form is available like everywhere in this region. You can't turn a corner without nearly getting your head taken off by a soaring Wingull. And this evil organization has no counters? There are genuinely random ass trainers who would have no issues with Maxie's right-hand man. And then Maxie himself, like sure, he evolves his Zubat into Crobat for this one, but it's not like the Crobat can touch Magneton, and Camerupt is still not going to be able to magically hit Pelipper. This is the guy who wants to take over the world? Now for a real Pokemon battle, and this is a fun one. On turn 1, Xatu Confuse Rays Dusclops, Claydol uses EQ, Pelipper uses Surf, which lands a crit on Claydol, and Dusclops hits herself in Confusion. Man, Dusclops really took it on the chin this turn, huh? I send Sceptile in for Film Noir as the twins Hyper Potion Claydol back to full, and Xatu sets up Sunny Day, which in turn reduces the incoming damage from Mailman's Surf. Gex, the absolute beast he is, kills Xatu with a crit pursuit on the next turn, drawing out Lunatone. By far the better outcome of the 2 options Tate and Liza have in the back. and Pelipper and Claydol continue to be minimally effective with Surf and Earthquake respectively. Leaf Blade sends Lunatone packing immediately, but another EQ from Claydol puts him in crit range, so I swap him out for Armaldo, who's getting his first action here. Alejandro's battle armor ability is especially huge in double battles. Mailman kills Claydol with Surf, and crits Soul Rock to knock the Sun down to red health, while a Citrus Berry takes them out of potion range. So I have Armaldo protect, and Mailman delivers the final blow. Team Magma they just won't go away, man. This tag battle in Moss Deep Space Center is an absolute joke, with Pelipper and Magneton teaming up yet again to counter the same 3 Pokemon we've been seeing from them all game. And then Archie's our next victim, and I swear, for 2 guys who are apparently polar opposites, they sure like using the same Pokemon. At least Sharpedo offers some nice variety and a tasty meal for Magneton. And finally, we're done with the evil teams. Thank Arceus. Juan is the last gym leader of Hoenn, and to be honest, he's really just a weaker version of his protege Wallace. While that makes him a phenomenal mentor, it does leave a lot to be desired on the battlefield. Sceptile one-shots Love Disc, Magneton Oko's Celio, and Gex comes back into one-tap Whiscash, and that's 3 down within the fight's opening seconds. Kingdra now hits the field, and Magneton is really my only answer here. Terabyte switches in on a double team, and Kingdra uses another one on the next turn, but Terabyte hits the Thunderbolt and paralyzes, setting up a potential kill with Thunderbolt on the next turn, and we get Shades of Pelipper as Magneton delivers. Nacho gets her first action as she easily kills Crawdon with Giga Drain, and our gym journey in Hoenn is over with. After a quick battle against Wally and Victory Road, it's time for the Elite Four. We've built a team around a strong core of Mons who have come up huge throughout our journey. Gex the Sceptile for strong stab Leaf Blades, Kite the Swellow who is pre-burned to take advantage of Guts, Terabyte the Magneton who has come to every single fight since joining the squad, Lizard the Aggron who put in absolute work as a little Aeron and will do so in his final form here as well. Nacho the Ludicolo will also be getting some run after a taste against Juan, and last up is Gabagool the Tentacruel, who has been with us forever but is finally getting her chance to shine now. My friends, let's ride. Sydney is first up, and his team of dark types is, well, how do I say this politely? Hot garbage. Terabyte gets the party started, and Swellow feasts on the rest of the team to advance us to our battle against the second Elite Four member, Phoebe. I lead with Terabyte once again to 1v1 her lead Dusclops, causing her to send her ace Dusclops out to battle. This one is a much bigger problem for me as she knows Earthquake, so I send out Ludicolo. Nacho is actually the only Pokemon I have in my party that isn't hit for super effective damage by any of Dusclops' moves, so it's up to her to solo this Hollow Cyclops. After trading attacks for a bit, both Pokemon on the field heal up to just over half HP with held Citrus Berries, meaning this face-off is going to come down to the wire. Yeah, we're just gonna have to dodge the crit. Unless we get our own crit. Ludi. Nacho, what an absolute legend, thank you. I went with Ice Beam over Surf there to try and prevent the potion, but Nacho comes through in a big way and swings momentum over to our side. Banette is out next, and this one's moveset makes Swellow a hard counter, and Kite 2-shots with Aerial Ace. Phoebe's second Banette, however, knows Thunderbolt, so I pivot through Sceptile to switch Magneton in on a Shadow Ball. This was to prevent paralysis, since I needed to give Terabyte a Person Berry for the lead Dusclops. After OHKOing with Thunderbolt, Phoebe's double-teaming Sableye finds herself as the last chance, but Magneton knows Shockwave to render the evasiveness boost useless, leading to a clean victory. I'll be honest, Glacier scares me a bit. Swellow is completely useless in this fight, and while Sceptile is fairly effective against her Celios and Walrein, he can't afford to take a single Ice-type hit. Oh, and one of her Glalie knows Explosion, meaning if she comes out into the field early, I could be in massive trouble. The lead Celio is no problem for Terabyte, but Walrein is a different story. I'm gonna need Magneton later, so I can't afford to be taking stab Surfs right now. Instead, I hand the ball off to Nacho, who's able to do a little chippage before she herself has to head back to the bench. Sceptile can kill with Leaf Blade from this range, but I need to switch him in on a Surf. So I pivot through Aggron on the incoming Ice Beam, but he gets crit in the process. This will be a problem for the Glalies later. In the meantime, Sceptile kills with a Leaf Blade and passes back to Magneton to send Glacia's second Celio packing. Now it's time for the first of the 2 Glalies. Originally, the plan was to have Aggron more or less 1v1 this Ice Rock, but with him getting crit earlier, it would put Glalie in an advantageous position in that matchup. So instead, I send in Gabagool. A Surf, an Ice Beam to keep Glalie out of healing range, and one more Surf gets the job done. And thankfully, Glalie opted to go with Icy Winds instead of Crunch here, so Tentacruel actually has a bit more health than she probably should right now. The last Glalie out is the one who knows Explosion, but the Emerald AI is such that the opponent will never explode if they are a trainer's last remaining Pokemon. Fire off a Toxic as Glacia uses Hail, and hit consecutive Surfs to finish things off. Like a Gabagool, man. So inspirational. The next victim on our run towards glory is Drake.
Drake? Drake?
So I actually have a couple questionable strategies here where I'm basically just relying on some of my Pokemon to ball hard, but you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Shelgon is up first, and after I chip with Aggron, I send in Ludi to finish the job. Admittedly, I was expecting a Dragon Claw instead of a Rock Tomb on the switch, though I should have realized that would be wrong because the AI loves speed control. While it's less damage, Rock Tomb causes a speed drop that leads to Shelgon being able to fire off a double edge before Nacho kills with Ice Beam. Not an issue in this moment, but this does mean that I'm probably going to need to dodge a crit later in the fight. I then send in Terabyte to handle Altaria. Alright, it's a good start. Now we'll Thunderbolt. And I think we'll go Tri-Attack and then another Thunderbolt, depending on how much damage this does. That did more damage than I thought it was going to. I think we go for the kill here. Oh. Okay. Oh, right. Yes. Yes. Obviously, that was, predicted. So, this is going to be Flamethrower, which means we can go to Tentacruel. Here's the thing. We're going to go for an Ice Beam. I don't know if this is going to kill. I really don't. And if it doesn't kill, we're kind of in rough shape. So we're just going to pray. Don't get crit, please. And don't flinch. Now, but that's not it. We got to see if this kills. Now it's time for Flygon. Originally the plan was, all right, this is gonna be Earthquake. We're gonna go to Ludi. We got Ice Beam. It's not quite the case anymore. So we're gonna go Ludi first. It's gonna get really awkward though if we have to switch. I'm gonna be honest. So I'm just hoping this doesn't do that much. Okay, we were not dead to crit there. We are totally dead to crit now. We just gotta go for it. All right, and this should kill. Okay, beautiful. Last up for Drake is Kingdra. Expecting a body slam, I pivot through Aggron to bait Guaranteed Surf into Sceptile. Gex does about half with Leaf Blade as Kingdra sets up a scary Dragon Dance, and now, for some epic gameplay, take it away past Drew. We're definitely dead to body slam crit. That's, like, for sure. If I Leaf Blade again, right, probably just about to eat a body slam, and then it's gonna heal. So we would just end up in the exact same position again. All right, here's the plan. Sceptile, Leaf Blade, and we take a body slam. On the heal up, we switch to Swellow, we go Facade, but then we have Quick Attack, and I believe that combination should kill even if we're slower. I think that's the plan. Well, that changes things quite drastically, actually. Well, actually, does it? I don't think it does. It just makes Body Slam way more likely to kill. This is heal up. All right. We Facade. I think we can get the job done. We just obviously can't get crit, but we can't get paralyzed either, which is nice. It Dragon Danced. Oh my god, that's so huge. Drake got greedy. I think this is free. Yeah. And we just Quick Attack. Is he gonna heal up again? Oh my god, this is crazy. We're definitely dead to Body Slam now. If he heals, we have to Facade. If he's not gonna heal, we have to Quick Attack. It's literally 50-50. We Quick Facade. Yes. Yes. All right, we're still in the driver's seat. We're still in the driver's seat. All right, exact same situation. Does he heal again? I say no. Yes.
He a fan.
All right, Wallace. Let's do this. Wallace leads with Wailord. Kind of scary on paper, kind of not, though. Rain Dance, Water Spout, Double Edge Blizzard. We resist Double Edge and Blizzard. Water Spout would suck, except we're Thunderbolting. And we're faster, so even if this doesn't kill, Water Spout will do nothing. But it does kill. We get the crit. I don't know if it mattered or not, but Terabyte is just that good. I'm gonna be honest, things really get really scary here. This is going to be Earthquake. There's nothing we can do about that. We have to bait it into using Hyper Beam. Not a lot of situations where we can do that. However, Sceptile can eat the Earthquake and will be dead to Hyper Beam, meaning that Gyarados should always use Hyper Beam here. Usually the AI is unlikely to go for moves like Hyper Beam that have a charge turn after the fact. However, if it sees a kill, it has to go for it. Yep, this is the charge turn, so even though we're slower, we kill with just a single Thunderbolt Another crit. Oh, Terabyte. What? Oh my god. Big game player. And now it's Whiscash time. Sceptile eats yet another Earthquake. We outspeed and we kill with Leaf Blade. Wallace, 3 Mons, 3 Okos to start this fight. Gotta love it. With half of Wallace's team down in a flash, he sends out his ace, Milotic, to try and get things back on track. He has a bit of a Toxic Stall set, but I use his own strategy against him with Gabagool. I want to keep her healthy for later though, so I send in Ludi to finish Milo off with a Giga Drain plus Toxic damage. Wallace's own Tentacruel now hits the field, and it's time for a PP stall, baby. Sending Aggron in on the 50-50 Sludge Bomb or Toxic, and then bringing Nacho in on Hydro Pump allows me to stall the Tentacruel out of its powerful Water-type attack. Once the Toxic Jellyfish is out of Hydro Pumps, Aggron can solo. Lizard tanks an Ice Beam and responds with an Earthquake to put Tenta down to red health. The champion then full restores as another EQ puts him into red health once again. This process repeats itself 3 more times before Wallace is out of full restores and his Tentacruel can finally rest. And last, but certainly not least, Wallace's own Ludicolo. And we are going to be going for a little bit of a Toxic Stall strat. As we know, Wallace is now out of full restores. He used all 4. So yeah, that's why we went Toxic Stall, because even though Swell is really good, obviously a little bit of chip would just be nice to kind of guarantee we'd be good. All right, so we protect here on what will probably be Giga Drain, I guess. Okay, goes another double team. It does not matter that it's going for a double team because we have Aerial Ace on our Swellow. Wallace never set up Rain, not that it would matter with Ludi coming at last, but another double team. Oh, Wallace, you greedy little minx. And with that, we have defeated a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald without a single death. Look at that. It's a beautiful thing. And that's that, my friends. Just like the 2024 Boston Celtics, we are world champions. See you in the next video.